Good evening, everyone. Today is day 11 of 15. That means the live challenge is almost over. So today's topic, I'm just adding in right now. Chucky. If you hear any background noise, it is not in my house, okay? We don't use those types of language in here, but it is my neighbor. Oh, Lord have mercy. I really hope you guys cannot hear what she's saying. Oh my goodness. Very interesting. Yes, so I'm going to be talking today about my Chuck E. Cheese co-parenting experience. You know, people are like, girl, what? Chuck E. Cheese and co-parenting, what them two things got to do with anything? But give me 2 seconds so I can connect to Facebook. Good evening, good evening, good evening. As you can see, the topic for today is day 11 of 15, my Chuck E. Cheese co-parenting experience. Girl, what you mean by that? What that mean? My name is Jamie Newton-Knight. I am your blended Black family strategist, your cooperative co-parenting specialist. I help women who feel overwhelmed by the drama and lack of boundaries in their blended families and are ready for a shift, move past the pain, and co-parent in a positive way. Come on, people. Let's co-parent in a positive way. Today's topic is my Chuck E. Cheese co-parenting experience. So what led to this topic is that today my brother had my niece's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. So we all attended, and as I'm sitting there, I'm like thinking about my experience as a co-parent in being there, like almost not to say the last time I was there, because I was there probably a year ago for my niece's birthday again, but just the atmosphere and sitting there, and I just was like, oh wow, I remember my experience co-parenting and being in this space, being in this place. So let me tell you. First, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm asking you to share. There's a link below on your screen somewhere. If it's Facebook, where you can share this out to people. Instagram, same thing. Share with your friends if you know anybody that could use a co-parenting tip. But today is just really my experience. So many years ago, my son was probably going on 3, I want to say he was turning 3 years old. And this was after, so my son's birthday is in April. His father and I broke up in March of the year before. We had his birthday in April of that year, which was one thing. No new parties were invited, so there was no boyfriend of mine invited. His girlfriend wasn't invited to the party that year, so that was one thing. However, the following year, we had some, issues pertaining to my son's party. So the first part of the issue was, I don't mind if you're coming. I don't mind if you're inviting anyone, as long as you're helping pay for this party. And he always had a huge issue with helping pay for things because he was like, well, I give child support. But I'm like, yeah, but child support covers like the usual stuff that happens on a month-to-month basis, the things that are normal occurrences, right? Like childcare, like food. Those things are what's covered under child support. If you are unsure of what's covered, go take a look at your local child support enforcement agencies, detailed information on what's covered in child support. Those are the things that's covered. Anything like a birthday party and Christmas presents and all those things, those are completely separate. That's like not included in child support. So when the birthday party thing came up, I wasn't asking him, oh, I need you to give me half of the money for the birthday party, because of the fact that, for me, this is my feeling about stuff like that. If I'm the person creating this party, so if I'm saying I want to have a party for our son, we didn't discuss it. I just said, I'm going to have this party and I want to do it like this. Let's say I wanted to have this grandiose party, where it was going to be a circus clown, balloons and all. Then in my opinion, I can't expect him to pay half of that because he never signed up for that. He didn't say, oh yeah, sure, I want to be in on that. That's not what he did. So if you don't have an agreement on something like that, then that's not something you should expect half for. If the person is able to give you half or does give you half, then be grateful. Thank you, please, and thank you. However, in this situation, I wasn't asking for half or anything like that because I planned this party myself. So whether he came or he didn't, I was going to have this party. Whether he was for or against it didn't matter. I was going to have this party. Like, this party was something that I was already planning because I knew I wanted to do. Our son had already expressed interest in having a party at Chuck E. Cheese. So I said, then this is what we're going to do, right? So I had this party. The only thing I did expect was that because of the fact that he didn't say at the time that he was bringing anyone and did end up bringing his girlfriend at the time, who, again, some of you don't know the story, but this is the woman who he cheated on me with 3 months before our wedding. So imagine the tension that's going to be in that space. But I was like, all right, he's coming. He probably bring his girlfriend and I'm going to allow it. It's cool because it's so big of a space that we don't have to be all up in each other's faces. I know how to be cordial, right? I can be cordial. I think I could do that. I can handle that. So I was like, it's fine, whatever. So we have the party. The issue was that he was bringing people with him. So now if I already planned this party and I'm paying for this party, then I'm paying for the people that I invited. Now, if you decide to invite people, then you need to come up out your pocket for some extra coins for this party. That is what I do expect. I do expect that if you are inviting people that was not on the invitation list for a party that you do not have to pay for, then yes, you should contribute because of the people that you invited. So he invited his girlfriend. His girlfriend had a daughter, so she came as well. And then his girlfriend invited her best friend because, of course, if you're coming into a situation like that, she's not going to want to come to a birthday party, like, with his ex and her family by herself. So she brought her friend, and her friend brought her son. So that's 2 extra children and 2 extra adults. So you're going to pay for those people. You're going to pay for the people that you added. So it was a little bit of an issue because of that. So it started off with that. However, because again, the space was so big, I managed to try to stay, my distance. She stayed hers, but I tried to be cordial. So my son is there. Regardless of how I feel about the situation, yes, it was still, fairly new. So there was still some wounds that were unhealed. There was some scars left behind that were still open. And so because of that, I had to know how to approach the situation. So I approached it with care. I was like, I'm not trying to start drama. This is my son's 3rd birthday party. Everyone is here. Let's make the best of it. And so we did that. But I know that for some people, that's not something that's easy to do. So for one, it's the financial aspect of it. So of course, my tip is, in a situation like that, you got to be fair. If you are asking for half for a party, then they should be able to invite half the amount of people, right? They should be able to invite who they want. You invited who you want, they invite who they want. As long as there's not going to be no fighting at these little kids' birthday parties. Keep it cute, guys. Keep it classy. So if financially, like I said, if they're contributing, then they should be able to invite people as well. Another thing is your behavior while you're there, right? Again, my son was there. My daughter was there. There were other kids there. people that I love and respect were there. Like my mom was there. My son's godmothers were there. My sister was there. I can't remember all the people that were there, but I know that on my side, they was, oh, my sister, I call her my sister-in-law. She's going to be my sister-in-law to the end. She was there, and everybody was giving the side eye, like, did this girl show up to this party? You know, because it was kind of tension. There was a lot of tension there, but we made the best of it. And I made sure that no one was disrespectful to each other. Like, everybody stayed cordial, because the overall point of it for me was my child. My son was the most important part of that situation. So I tried to make sure that that was a safe and secure space, that he didn't feel the tension that was going on there, that no one made comments around him to make him feel bad about his father being there or about this young lady being there. And so that was my first, and this was, I think, our first encounter in terms of like being in a public, having to share private or public space together for my son. That was the first event. So like I said, this was the reason why I titled it my Chuck E. Cheese co-parenting experience, because that first situation wasn't an easy situation to be in. It wasn't like we were years removed from our engagement, years removed from breaking up. You know, no, the wounds were very fresh. The drama was it was brewing, right? The fuel was brewing, the drama was brewing, everything was still right at it could have blown over at any point. But I wanted to make sure that that's not something that was done, because my son was there. So this kind of goes back to the information that I talked about a couple of nights ago, where I said the introduction is important, meaning how you introduce your new boo to your children is important. But equally as important is the introduction to their parent, their co-parent, your co-parent, their other parent. So if an introduction between she and I had taken place prior to this, it might have broken the ice a little bit. Like, I probably still would have had my feelings about her, because, again, at that time, everything was fresh, everything was new. I wasn't just getting over it a couple months after this thing occurred, right? A year after is still very, very new. I wasn't going to get over that. So, yeah, so an introduction outside of a situation like that would have probably been the best thing, but it didn't happen. So then what do? Right? You deal with what you have, and you try to deal with it in the most mature way that you can. I tried to make her feel comfortable. I tried to make sure my family was comfortable with her being there, and just keeping them apart was probably keeping them on different sides was the easiest and best way to go at that time. But I didn't treat her bad or anything like that. We did speak. We didn't indulge in a deep conversation, but we did have a conversation. We did speak. I asked if everything was okay. Did she need anything? You know, I'm trying to be the host, because this was my party, my son's party that I was hosting. So I just tried to make everybody feel comfortable. I'm not telling you that that's what you need to do in a situation like this. Like, if you find yourself meeting the new person for the first time in a public place at one of your kids' events, and your first initial response is shock or anger, I'm not telling you to try to be anything that you are not. However, what I am one tip I will give you is to always notice that there are people around, and not just regular people. I'm not talking about the lady who lives up the street, and no, I'm talking about your child. Like, that being the most important part. You don't want to stir up drama at an event that your child is having, because either that will, one, make them feel uncomfortable before it even begins, or once it's over, make them feel like, do I go say hi to mom, or can I go to daddy? Or I don't know. You don't want to make them feel like that. So just suck it up for the sake of the child. Make sure it's not drama filled. If you know that it can be drama filled, because you might have deeper issues or bigger issues that are going on in that situation, then you try to deal with it according to your situation. But the most part is constantly thinking about the fact that your child is there, your child is around, and you want to do what's in the best interest of them and not really let your own ego get in the way and take over and make that situation look way worse than it needs to. So I'm not staying on here tonight, but if you would like to drop below any of your first weird and awkward co-parenting experiences, like let's say, like I said, the first time you encountered your ex's new partner was at your child's spring concert, or at their soccer game, or at, wherever it was, whatever the weird experience was for you, if it was weird at all. Drop those comments below. I'd love to hear them. We could talk about them further at another time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that you share this. I invite you to connect with me, like I said, in all the lives that I've hosted so far. So all 11 of them, 10 of them. And tonight I will do the same. I have a Cocoa Blend Bootcamp coming up on February 8th. February 8th is the Cocoa Blend Bootcamp. It is a virtual bootcamp. It is going to teach you how to be open, be honest, and be open and be honest, okay? It is going to teach you how to label what you're feeling and let it go. It is going to teach you how to expect change, resistance, and acceptance. It's going to teach you how to negotiate. It is going to teach you how to not rush the process. Everybody has their own process to go through. It's not going to be on any specific time. It's not going to be like, girl, in 2 weeks, your blended family is going to be blending like nobody's business, like no other. It's going to be perfect. That's not reality. But the boot camp will teach you ways on making it better. And not rushing the process helps you understand that the process takes time. And it's going to take time depending on all the people that are actively involved in trying to make the positive change. So that's the Cocoa Blend Bootcamp. Also, if you are not ready for the Cocoa Blend Bootcamp, but you're like, I'm not exactly sure where I stand in this, schedule a free blended brainstorming session. We can get some clarity on your biggest blended challenge, and I will help you get some clarity on that issue and give you tips on moving forward. Or you can just sign up for my email list and updates. That will just give you weekly information on, I usually send an email once a week, letting you know what's been going on. Let's catch up, giving you the updates on all of those things, and we can connect that way as well. So thank you again for tuning in. I hope you guys have an amazing evening. God bless you. Last night, my live did not save on Instagram. So I am going to try to do a really good job on making sure that this saves to Instagram tonight. So I'm going to say good night to you guys first. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, Rochelle. As usual, I completely appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning in, and also check me out here tomorrow night again, where I will be going live at 8:30. So have a good night. Thank you guys.